There are books you read and feel like a genius. You close the last page, nod like a philosopher, and think, yes, I have conquered this mountain of words. I understand life now. Then there are books like this one. Books that make you feel like you've been hit on the head by a flying coconut while trying to cross the road. This play by Wole Soyinka, Madmen and Specialists, is exactly that. A 77-page book that took me 3 days to read, not because I'm slow, but because at every page I kept asking, wait, what's going on again? It's like being dropped in the middle of a town square where 4 eccentric beggars are yelling at each other, talking politics, cracking strange jokes, and playing dice with parts of their bodies as wagers. And while you're still trying to figure out why the cripple is betting his own crutch, a mad doctor walks by, glaring like you owe him money. This book went over my head like a plane, but let me tell you the story anyway, because even in its madness, there's something unforgettable about it. The play opens on a dusty, war-ravaged road with a quartet of mendicants, or to use less fancy language, professional beggars. But don't picture sad, silent beggars holding out bowls. Oh no, these 4, Afa, Goyi, Blind Man, and Cripple, are a loud, sarcastic ragtag crew who can insult each other as fast as they can scam passing strangers out of coins. They're like a mix of a failed comedy troupe and a survival gang, except war has left them with more missing body parts than good jokes. Afa is the self-proclaimed leader, full of arrogance and sarcasm. Think of him as the guy in every group project who does nothing but still acts like he's the smartest. Goyi is slightly more positive, the kind of guy who'd look at a bombed-out house and say, well, at least the view is nice now. He's also strapped into a weird contraption that forces him into a stooping position, which is not great for his career options, but hey, these are war times. Then there's Blind Man, who can't see but still manages to join in their dice games, and Cripple, who, well, you can guess. The 4 of them gamble with body parts, fake fits and spasms for sympathy, and have set up camp right in front of Dr. Bero's house. Because why wouldn't a group of beggars, traumatized by war, choose to hang around the house of the neighborhood torturer? Dr. Bero, once a respected physician, has traded healing for hurting. During the war, he became what he calls a specialist, and his specialty? Torture. Imagine a doctor who, instead of giving you medicine, gives you psychological scars, and then sends you the bill. War has completely warped his mind, and when he returns home, he's not just broken, he's dangerous. Back at home, Bero has locked up his father, simply known as the Old Man, in a room so dark and forgotten it's practically an oubliette. And trust me, this old man isn't your cuddly, pipe-smoking grandpa. He's deranged, ranting, and, thanks to the warped cult he leads, now believes in the noble art of eating human flesh. Yes, legalizing cannibalism was apparently the old man's big political campaign promise. Meanwhile, Dr. Bero's sister, Bero, has no idea what's going on. She's been keeping her brother's medical practice alive while he was off at war with the help of 2 wise but stubborn old women, Iya Agba and Iya Mate. These 2 are like a Yoruba version of Statler and Waldorf from The Muppet Show, but sharper, tougher, and far less forgiving. They've been working hard, but when Dr. Bero shows up, he doesn't thank them. Instead, he fumes because they're living on his compound, and worse, they're demanding payment. The kicker? They won't even say what kind of payment they want, which drives him madder than he already is. Now, let's circle back to the Mendicants. These 4 aren't just loitering around. They've formed an unsettling alliance with Dr. Bero, something called the Cult of A's. Nobody asked for this cult, nobody wants it, but here it is anyway, spouting bizarre philosophies, gambling, and preparing for the day they might need to cook one of their own. Goyi, poor optimistic Goyi, eventually gets caught in their twisted survival menu. That's right, he's the main course. Meanwhile, Bero, sensing something isn't right, starts questioning her brother about their father's whereabouts. At first, Bero lies straight to her face, because that's what good brothers do, right? But Bero is stubborn, relentless, and not easily fooled. She presses him until the cracks in his lies start showing. By now, Bero is like a pressure cooker about to explode. His sister's persistence, the old women's demands, and the mad ramblings of his father are all pushing him to the brink. Inside that locked room, the old man and the quartet of beggars engage in sharp, biting political conversations. They talk about corrupt politicians, about promises made and broken, and about how the powerful say one thing today and do another tomorrow. These scenes are some of Soyinka's most cutting commentary. He's basically calling out the hypocrisy and greed of political leaders. And in a darkly ironic twist, it's the madmen, the outcasts, and the broken who speak the clearest truths. As the story spirals toward its end, Dr. Bero's obsession with killing his father grows. It's like both of them are caught in a strange, tragic contest of who's the real madman and who's the real specialist. By the end, the line between sanity and madness is completely blurred. And cannibalism? It's not just a grotesque metaphor anymore. It's the final symbol of how war and power devour humanity itself. The book I'm talking about, if you haven't guessed already, is Madmen and Specialists by Wole Soyinka. This is one of his darker, more difficult plays, first published in 1971. And let me tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I say this play had me scratching my head, putting it down, picking it up again, and muttering, "What on earth is happening here?" Honestly, this is the first book I can confidently say it went over my head. I mean, I think I understood the broad strokes. War destroys people, politics corrupts them, and everyone ends up justifying their own madness. But connecting all the dots? That was tough. It took me 3 days to read just 77 pages. 3 days. Not because it's poorly written, far from it, but because Soyinka doesn't hand you anything on a silver platter. You have to work for it. The humor here is biting, bitter, and often grotesque. It's nothing like The Lion and the Jewel, which is playful and flirtatious. Instead, this is Soyinka writing in anger, in frustration, and with a sharp eye for the horrors of war and the moral decay it leaves behind. And the result is, well, a play that's as confusing as it is haunting. Madness and war. Everyone in this play is touched by madness. The war hasn't just scarred bodies, it's wrecked minds. Dr. Bero is proof that even healers can become monsters when exposed to too much violence. Politics and hypocrisy. The political conversations between the old man and the beggars are some of the play's sharpest moments. Soyinka is pointing a finger at politicians who promise the world but deliver nothing. Power and inhumanity. Dr. Bero locking up his father, the cult's cannibalism, and the general lack of empathy. This is all Soyinka asking. What does power do to a person's humanity? Family and betrayal. The conflict between Bero and their father highlights how war can turn even family members into strangers, or worse, enemies. Wole Soyinka is one of Nigeria's greatest writers, a Nobel laureate, and a fearless critic of corruption and dictatorship. He wrote Madmen and Specialists while in prison during the Nigerian Civil War, which explains its heavy, bleak tone. If The Lion and the Jewel is Soyinka's wink and smile, Madmen and Specialists is his scowl, and maybe his scream. Would I recommend this book? Yes, but with a warning. Don't expect to read it in one sitting and fully get it. It's the kind of book you need to read slowly, maybe twice, and discuss with others. It challenges you, frustrates you, and forces you to think. For me, even though I can't say I fully understood everything, I appreciate Soyinka's boldness. He's not writing to entertain. He's writing to shake you awake. This play is not easy reading. It's short but dense, like trying to swallow a stone. It made me think. It made me uncomfortable, and it left me with more questions than answers. But maybe that's exactly what Soyinka wanted. Maybe we're supposed to wrestle with the madness and chaos of it all, just like the characters do. Have you read Madmen and Specialists? Did it confuse you too, or did you find some clarity I completely missed? Let me know in the comments, because I feel like this review is just the start of an open conversation about what Soyinka was trying to tell us. And if you're new here, I review classic African literature every week, so stick around for more bookish adventures and maybe a little madness along the way. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.